The house at 412 Wharf Street was for sale. The previous owners, Mr. and Mrs. Wallen, had saved for several years to buy their dream home near Lake Brennan. They never had children, and now that they were both approaching 70, it seemed like the perfect opportunity. Stephen Bloom didn't think twice about buying the house. He, too, had been saving for this moment, the opportunity to be a homeowner for most of his life. His brother Patrick would have been proud. The house itself wasn't flashy, with 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. It was comfortable enough for the academic chemist. Not too big, not too small, and Stephen was pretty sure the upkeep wouldn't be too bad. What he liked best was the shed out back. He made plans to set up a small lab where he could do experiments and research. It would also be an office where he could grade papers and prepare his classes. He believed that he would soon find someone to share his home with, a loving wife, a family. A week after settling in, he was taking measurements in the shed, calculating the space and figuring out where to put his desk and lab. At the back of the shed, he felt the floorboards give way under his weight. He tried to lift them, but he couldn't with his bare hands. He saw a handle under the boards. He used a crowbar to pry the floorboards away, revealing a door with a brass loop handle. He was surprised at how heavy it was. After some effort, he pulled the door back to reveal a very deep hole. He figured it was about 5 feet wide, but had no idea how deep it would be. A wooden ladder clung precariously to the side of the hole. To get a sense of how deep it went, Stephen lit a match and let it go, but it went out before it reached the bottom. He felt a rush of excitement. His sense of adventure grew. Stephen went to the garage and equipped himself with a flashlight and some rope. He worried that the ladder wouldn't hold his weight. He wondered how long this had been there and if the Wallens knew about it. Stephen was anxious to find out what was down there, especially since someone had tried to hide it. He tied one end of the rope around the wooden beam in the shed and the other around his waist in case the ladder was indeed too brittle. Stephen hoped it would be long enough for him to reach the bottom safely. He began his descent and was amazed at how deep it was. It was at least 250 to 300 feet. Less than halfway down, he ran out of rope, but seeing the sturdiness of the ladder, he decided to continue without it. He finally reached the bottom. Stephen took small steps forward as the flashlight barely illuminated the pitch black. After walking for about 5 minutes, he began to panic, thinking it was a maze of corridors and that he had lost his way. He stopped to collect himself. He continued forward, determined to see where it led. After about another 5 minutes, he could see a faint light source of light ahead. He quickened his pace. The tunnel led into a huge cavern. The faint light came from millions of crystals growing out of the rock. Stephen had never seen anything like this before. There was no light down here, but the crystals pulsed as if they were alive. Stephen continued to explore the cave, and near one of the walls he noticed something different. 2 egg-shaped stones, each about 3.5 feet long, stood side by side. The stones were black and smooth. Stephen examined the surface. They weren't naturally shaped. Someone had carved them and placed them here. He thought they might be onyx or obsidian. The workmanship was amazing. One of the stones had a symbol etched into its side. It was about 3 inches long. Stephen didn't recognize it. He put his hands around one of the stones and tried to lift it, but it was just too heavy. He made his way back to the surface, overwhelmed with joy as he closed the heavy door and put the planks back. These crystals could be worth a fortune, not to mention the stone eggs, he thought. He closed the shed behind him, securing the doors with the padlock he had just oiled. Stephen would tell no one about his discovery until he knew more. On his way back to the house, he noticed that his fingertips and nails were black. He washed his hands in the kitchen, but nothing came out. He scrubbed with a sponge for a few minutes and then dipped his hands in paint thinner, but the dirt was permanent. The same blackness would soon creep into his soul. Jack opened his eyes. He was lying on his bed. He sat up and looked around. He quickly left his room. His mother was working on a crossword puzzle at the kitchen table. "Good afternoon," she said without looking up. That must have been some party. What time is it? He asked, rubbing his eyes. 2:15. 2:15? Jack had no idea how he got home. The party wasn't a dream, he knew that for sure. How much did you have? Was it beer? Scotch? She asked, looking up from her crossword. What? Mom, you know I don't drink. Well, it didn't look like that when you came in last night, she darted, growing irritated. What time was that? It was about 2:45. And I walked in alone? Are you on drugs, Jack? She was clearly upset now. Come on, Mom, really? Fine. So, did you have fun? Did you meet any nice girls? Her demeanor calmed. Sarah's image immediately came to Jack's mind, but now he was angry. He wanted to get to the bottom of all this mysterious stupidity. Yes, Mom, I did. She's gorgeous, and we have a date. I'm late. I have to go. Jack washed his face, brushed his teeth, and changed quickly. Good for you, kiddo, she said, looking back at her crossword puzzle. He ran out the door, anger boiling in his chest. Jack almost sprinted to Sarah's house. He had had enough. He was going to confront her no matter what the consequences. He rang the bell. Sarah's father answered the door. Jack was surprised to find him there. Wasn't he away on business? Mr. Pilkington? Jack was confused. Yes? Sarah's father looked as if he hadn't slept in weeks. His face was haggard, his eyes bloodshot. I'm Jack. I'm in Sarah's class. How was your trip? He asked. Trip? Jeremy seemed hypnotized. Yes, Sarah told me you were on a business trip. Oh yes, of course. I was away on business. He stared at Jack, looking through him instead of at him. After an awkward pause, Jack asked if Sarah was home. Sarah? Sarah's gone, Jeremy replied blankly. What do you mean gone, Mr. Pilkington? I mean she's out. She left early this morning. Do you know where she went? Jack grew irritated. No, I don't ask. Sarah has come into herself now. She doesn't have time for Dad anymore. She's very independent. Jack looked behind Jeremy. The house was immaculate. Nothing was out of place. Not a single remnant of a party. You want to come in, Jack? I could use the company. It's been a while since I talked to anyone. Come in. He put a hand on Jack's shoulder. You can wait for Sarah here. She shouldn't be long. His grip on Jack's shoulder tightened. No, Mr. Pilkington, thank you, but I'll be back later. You're staying, Jack. You have to stay. You have to see this. You're hurting my shoulder, Mr. Pilkington. Please, let me go. Jeremy released him. I'm sorry. I'll let Sarah know you came by. He closed the door in Jack's face. What could he have meant by, you need to see this? Jack thought that Jeremy had also seen his daughter's true, horrible nature. He didn't think there could be any other reason. There had to be. But if Sarah was some otherworldly thing, what would that make Jeremy? He also carried the same hideous DNA as his daughter. Who were these people and where did they come from? But Jack thought there was something strange about Jeremy. He could see the fear in his eyes when he asked about Sarah. For Jack, Monday couldn't come soon enough.